Today I'm going to show you guys how to change the right crankcase cover on a 2017 CBR 1000rr. It's the same procedure on a lot of bikes' crankcase covers, but you're going to want to know how to do it on this bike in particular because for whatever reason, straight out the factory, they tend to leak out of the crankcase cover. And it's been addressed on a lot of the forums, but I'm going to show you guys how to actually go about doing it and fix that leak. So the first thing you want to do is take out the dipstick. So unscrew the dipstick here. All right. Okay, and then next you want to start unbolting these 8mm bolts that go around the case cover. If you ever need to get to your clutch or replace your clutch, you're going to have to do this as well. Let's take this off. So we're going to take these out. It doesn't really matter how you take the bolts off, but when you put them back on, you're going to want to put them on in a crisscross pattern. So we got all of the screws taken off. I left some of them here in the brackets just so I know which holes they go into. It doesn't really matter. I just like some of them to go back into the same holes that they came out of. The next thing we need to do is disconnect this clutch cable from the spindle thing here. And that's just pulling this out. But you also have to kind of rotate it as you pull it out, which is like pulling the clutch in. So it's kind of difficult to do. It takes a lot of pressure. You have more leverage when you use the lever. So we might just go like this with it. There we go. And it's out. Now it comes all the way back like this because it's spring loaded. But when we pull this off, this is wrapped around and caught here on the inside. So we have to pull this out and twist it at the same time, or else it won't let go and it won't come out. So Honda conveniently put these things here because they know you're going to have to pull this clutch cover off to change your clutch or maybe to fix their leaky crankcase cover that they came from the factory. But you have a thing here where you can kind of leverage it out with a flathead screwdriver. And there's another one right here. So it's right there and then right there, and that'll help you kind of pull it out. Now I suggest when you do this, you get a towel like that so you don't scratch your frame, and then you just kind of pull back on it. So okay, pull a little bit. Don't put a whole lot of pressure on it though. And then right here, I'm gonna come back and do the same thing over here. Look at that, you can already see the oil coming out. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And it's not going to be easy by any means. Well, it's not going to be too hard, but you are going to have to kind of finagle it a little. It's definitely a lot easier when I did it at the track, because Honda is real chintzy with their sealant, which is why this whole thing, why we're doing this to begin with at such an early time without really having to change the clutch. Come back on the top. There it goes. Okay, now another thing, so now we have to, the reason it's caked on like this is because I had to do it really fast in between races. So it's like, it's not ideal. And that's why we're redoing it here for the video. But you can see here, this thing here is what grabs this lever, which when this pulls in and out, helps change your gears. This is your clutch assembly, by the way. So you have to twist it clockwise, like that, to pull it out. Twist it clockwise to pull it out, and then put it back. Okay. So yeah, so it clamps in there and then it lets it go. So we're going to have to clean these mating surfaces before we re-temp it. And again, I did this at the track, so it slowed the leak. It definitely didn't stop the leak because it's supposed to cure over 24 hours. And I just didn't have that kind of time. Another thing you really need to be careful of when you take this thing off is it has this washer right here. It's kind of cemented in there, and it goes right there on top of this, and there's a spring washer underneath it. These washers they'll fall out. I'm gonna put it here so I don't lose it. They'll fall out, and occasionally, worst case scenario, put that up there. These need to be together. This will fall out and come down in this hole in here. And if that happens, you're more than likely going to have to remove your oil pan to fish these out. So, and it happens. I've actually had to remove my oil pan on my last bike, which was an 06 CBR 1000, because I had a little tool fall down in there. And I couldn't fish it out with the magnet because it was a plastic tool. So I had to, on the 06, you have your exhaust manifold that comes through here. Actually, it looks like this one. You probably don't have to mess with it, but on the 06, it's undertail. So this had to come out, the exhaust had to come out, and it just made a real simple repair into something horrible. So this is off. So now we have to add sealant. I wish, and I know there's some aftermarket people that there's aftermarket things that they make a gasket, but I wish it came from the Honda factory with a gasket already made. Honda, if you happen to be watching this video, man, use a gasket. I don't like using, this is the sealant that they recommend you use. Mine dried up, so I'm going to use this generic one I got at the auto store. But they recommend Honda Bond high temperature. This one should do it though, high temp gray gasket maker. But really just using a gasket maker in general is annoying. Like you shouldn't, there should be an actual gasket here. So I'm going to go ahead and clean the mating surfaces of it before I apply new gasket, wipe off all the grease and old gasket sealant, and then we'll apply the new gasket maker. But yeah, I mean, Honda should have really issued a recall for this. Like, everyone's like, yeah, first 100 miles, start leaking oil. Like, that's unacceptable. All right, guys, so spent some time scraping this. It's as clean as I got it. So now we're gonna have to put on our gasket maker to the mating surfaces. On this one, it's gonna go all the way around on the cover. And then on the engine, we count 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts up. We're gonna have to put some here to here, according to the book. And from here to here on this side, which I suspect is where it was leaking from. All right, so we get our little gasket maker. And we'll start to apply the sealant on there. You don't want this stuff to go inside here because it'll get inside your engine oil and clog your filter. So I just kind of want it on the outside. This way, put just a tad here. Okay, the book says to put it on the engine there and up here, so around this hole here. And I suspect this is where the leak was. So I'm going to try to put just a little extra right there. This gasket maker over here and here is this step here in the book. See, there's 4 bolt holes at the bottom, and they want a little gasket maker up top here, a little ways, and then a little gasket maker on this side a little ways. I'll probably went a little bit further. I just want to make sure though that it has it and it's covered. So those 2, and then all the way around the crankcase cover like that. And if you look here on the book, you see how they went around certain screws. I kind of went around a little bit more on the outside. I got this one like the book says, but I put just a little extra because I don't know why, but it shouldn't leak. And a lot of you guys on the forum have mentioned that you've had this similar issues where it's leaking out of your crankcase cover after 100 miles of a brand new bike, and that shouldn't happen. So Honda, if you see this, this is me trying to fix what you guys did. So we got our sealant on there. Now we're going to put this back on there. Now before we do that, we get a little bit of molybdenum grease here, and I'm going to just put it in these 2 little areas down here. And the reason we're doing that is because these dowel rods rotate inside that crankcase cover really fast. So by doing this, it kind of extends the life of them. So just put just a little bit of grease around there. I absolutely hate putting these things back on. because all this job that you made sure that you put everything on there nice and all that, and then it's just gonna smear all over the place when you put it back on there. All right, so we're gonna put it on, right? Wrong, we gotta do this. This is an important step. This has to go over here, the little wave washer. There's the wave washer, and then the flat washer goes on top of the wave washer. Looks like there's a little wear in it on that side, so it probably goes like that. Boom. Okay, that's important. If you don't do that, you're gonna mess it up. Now it's important also when you stick this on here that those two washers don't go falling down into your oil pan. God, that's horrible. So it's not gonna happen. We're gonna say it's not gonna happen. So now let's get our dowels lined up. There's one there. We're gonna line up. There's another one there. I'll line those up. See, it's already happening. I hate it. I hate doing this. So I'm just gonna hold my finger there, hold that there, pull this little guy out the way, pull my clutch cable out the way, and don't forget you gotta turn this, or else you'll be like, it's not going back on. Why? Well, you have to turn this. There we go. Is it in? Not really. So, it's still not in. Put that there. This kind of makes you want to cry when it doesn't go on like you want it to. But we're not going to cry. There's no crying in motorcycling. There we go. Maybe you have to open it and then close it. There it is. There it is. Get it, Kobe. No, don't get it, Kobe. That's my dog, Kobe. Don't pay attention to him. All right, it's on there on the mating surface. Now it's going to take a little bit more torque here because now you got to actually pull the clutch plates out to get it to connect back to your clutch rod. It's a very intense part of the operation here. It's got to be super hard to do. You know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to put in one of our screws down here like that, just to hold it in place a little bit. Just I don't want it moving. Alright, Cobra, I'm going to have you help me a little. I'm going to push this with all my might, and I want you just to put that little... Oh, never mind. Or maybe I don't have to pull it that damn hard. Come on, baby, it's in there. Alright, it's kind of in there. So push it in there a little bit more. There, it's in kinda, not all the way. Just gonna push. There we go, pushed. Ah, we did it, thank God. And we gotta wipe all this off, if not it'll stick. But, bam, and that's the hardest part. That's the most intense part of this whole job, right there. So now let's clean off these little screws. and we're going to hand tighten them in. And just for good measure, I'm going to put a little blue Loctite on the tips of the screws. Now that's not actually in the service manual to use blue Loctite. I'm going to do it though, because I bet you it's not in the service manual that the thing comes leaking from the factory either. So, oops. I know where this one goes because it's got the sealing washer. That one goes right here. Here it needs a new sealing washer. That's where that one goes. I'll put that one in later then. Put him down there. Let's do another one. Let's do this one. There's no sealing washer on this guy. So just a little blue Loctite. And stick it in there. And we're just going to hand tighten it for right now. And you want it hand tight for an hour. It needs to sit there hand tight for an hour. Back this guy out and put some Loctite on him. It needs to be sitting there hand tight for an hour, and then it can be tightened down to torque, 12 Newton meters. That's just what the gasket maker says. He says put it on there, hand tight, wait an hour, and then you can go ahead and tighten it down to torque after an hour. So we're going to go ahead and put that clock on right now. Let's see. It's 4:23. So 5:23 we'll go back around with our torque wrench and torque it down to 12 Newton meters. Draw some attention to just this one bolt here. Because Honda says if you take that bolt out, you have to replace it with a new sealing washer. So we're going to replace it with this copper sealing washer here. We're going to do everything by the book because this is part of the engine casing, and it's important. Of course, the blue Loctite's not part of by the book, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I don't have a whole lot of confidence in what Honda did here on the side of their engines. Alright, so they're all finger tight, but we're not done because we didn't take a torque wrench to it yet. But as per the instructions, we're going to wait an hour and then we'll come back and torque it down in a crisscross pattern. This side, that side, this side, this side, this side, this side, this side. So it's been an hour. The seal is starting to thicken and harden, and well, I honestly don't know what it does, but the instructions said to wait an hour, and I imagine, that's close to what it does. But anyways, we're going to start tightening this in a crisscross pattern. Now, I know this isn't a torque wrench. I'm not actually going to torque it that much. I'm just going to do it a little bit more so that when I come back with my torque wrench, I don't have to, twist it because this is a lot larger radius. But we're going to go ahead and start tightening it in a crisscross pattern. So they're all pretty much snug on there. So now we're going to switch over to our torque wrench. We want it at 12 Newton meters, which I think we're at right here. And we start tightening again in a crisscross pattern. and that's it. Now you want to be real careful. I don't know if you noticed how nervous I was tightening that, but you want it to go slow with it because it really can't go past 12 Newton meters, maybe 13, but right there, stop. I've snapped these before and it's a pain to get them out on the 2006. I mean, I was using a cheap Harbor Freight torque wrench, so I guess it was kind of my fault there too. But man, taking them out of there, and you get all nervous because it's your engine block, and you want to mess up your aluminum engine block. All right, so it's all pretty much, I think this one here, I think I got them all in the crisscross pattern, but I don't really know. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to do each one just directionally, just to test it out to make sure. And we'll start right here. I mean, it doesn't matter where you start, just know where you are. So that one's good.